What up, everybody? Green Day Saviors. Yep, we're reviewing this bad boy. Finally starting to get to it, so, yep. And this would be the 14th studio album from this band. I guess, Dos Tres counts as their own separate thing somehow. Even though they're three different parts of one release. But anyways. Wait, hold on. Yeah, this will count as 14 if you are having Unos Dos Tres as separate records, basically, and not part of one thing. But, yes, as the start of American Dream is Killing Me, I mean, I honestly did talk about Revolution Radio when that came out. I do have the record, not on hand at the moment, but I do have that. And, yes, this would be 14th studio album. Billy Joe Armstrong, Trey Cool, Mike Dirnt. Yeah, I decided to have an excuse to binge, but I will be honest with you guys. I didn't feel like binging the bad records. I'm not being Uno Stress, Father of All, and kind of gonna count though debatable. I'm kind of gonna count the record that followed American Idiot. That's, I don't know why it's escaping my head. I should know it too, but like everybody else, that knows of Green Day, 21st Century Breakdown. There it is. And some people say they haven't done anything good since then, but I'd say not really since American Idiot. And what came damn close on Revolution Radio. I'd say that. At the very least. At least I'd like it more than 21st Century Breakdown. At least most of that, but anyway. I will say this is the follow-up. We probably should have gotten to Revolution Radio for sure. And yeah. It's I like it. I like it a lot, actually. I mean, you could say tracks like, the opening track, the first single, lead-off single, The American Dream is Killing Me, is pretty good. The follow-up single, that follows this, is Locomotive Brains. Bobby Sucks is fine. There is some references here and there that's to Billy Joe's bisexuality and his willingness to try to, I guess, be somewhat pluralistic in his approach to it and seeing both the female and male perspective about it. One-Eyed Bastard, which was the final single of this record, was, it's hard to escape that the riff, and most people will tell you this, but it's hard to escape the riffs not being, literally Pink's So What. But though I think it's done better and less childish here, because that one had a it's not like the Green Day hasn't done that in the last record with Oh Yeah and oh god. But then you have Dilemma, which was another single, and honestly is definitely one of the highlights of this record for sure, at least among the singles besides One-Eyed Bastard, besides the other songs. How the singles were actually a good tease going into this record, actually, for the most part. But then 1981's pretty good. They definitely have some Ramonesy moments. In fact, one of my favorites that it's obviously like Ramonesy is Coma City. Or at least for me, it's a favorite. That like hit me in a good way. Though I can understand people's issues feeling fillerish with Corvette Summer and Susie Chapstick kind of halting the brakes on the momentum of this record. Strange Days Are Here to Stay do bring things back up, and so does Living in the 20s. Father to a Son, I don't know. I mean, aside from the fact that I get "Wake Me Up When September Ends" vibes from it, even from its lyricism and clearly in the title itself, because anyone who knows what "Wake Me Up When September Ends" is really about, which has nothing to do with the theme of American Idiot so much as it has more to do with it being the month that Billy Joe's father died, Armstrong's father had passed, which he does say in the song, and it was sort of a break in momentum a little bit on that record, but it's a good enough song that I don't really care, and they somehow found a way through the music video to still make it about 9/11, even though it wasn't, but. Regardless, Saviors was them kind of sort of doing political, but while also sonically bringing back aspects of not just the American Idiot 21st Century Breakdown era stuff, but more even so the 90s up to the 2000 album Morning, to a certain degree. Well, there's no unlike unlike Revolution Radio, I would definitely say to a lot of people, if this album needed to save us from anything, it's How Bad Father of All Motherfuckers was. And, yeah, it did just that for sure. I definitely put it in their higher echelon of records. I don't know if I'd put it as high as ARTV, but he's more of a diehard fan, and I guess if you're as diehard as he is, yeah, you'll just be as satisfied. I guarantee you with this thing. And I wouldn't have ended this record with the Fancy Sauce. I had more understanding of Saviors or Father to a Son being an ending for this record. Father to a Son is weird, and it's him also kind of figuring out with his own kid. But one of those being his own kid is, I believe, the drummer from, I forgot the name of the band that he was in, but he was essentially kind of had some accusations, and I can understand some people being confused and somewhat slightly uncomfortable in that regard. If you know that whole thing. But though if you look at it more as his own thing towards and him trying to figure it out, I guess it's more about dealing with his own, what he would have imagined about what his father would have wanted to say to him, and that being what he would want to say to his kids, or at least his sons. And it's an interesting retrospective track, that's for sure. Definitely one of the better ones. Definitely a very interesting use of orchestra and stuff. Cavallo being back on this record definitely plays a part in helping. When Green Day and Cavallo get together, it's always something. There's always something there. You know what I mean? Always something there, at the very least. Even at the worst moments of Green Day's discography with Cavallo, there's still something good there, you know, or worthwhile. Being technically warning, I guess, in that regard, but yeah, I'd say this is, if you are a fan of Green Day, there's no way you're not going to like this record. It does, while not being able to be masterclass certified, unfortunately, I can't really say that for sure. But of the bigger named releases, but I do get vibes about this record. I will say that's, for Green Day, that is the same kind of vibes I got last year out of Blink-182 and whatnot. 182's album, and I'm thinking of the other band. Oh, and the Foo Fighters. But here we are as well. And I'd say in this same case for Green Day here with Saviors, for sure. Even though they've been around still, as has Weezer, but unlike Weezer, has been spotty, or at least 50-50 on how good or bad a release is. I can't really say that with Green Day. Green Day has a lot less blemishes than Weezer. And luckily, this is not one of those blemishes. And they definitely needed to make sure it was a good record they were backing up, especially after the whole debacle that made no sense for being a debacle. Like, seriously. Like I said about how, like, they've been obviously political since American Idiot, at least obviously. And they even weren't, and they've held to the point where they may as well have just come out and said they were liberal. And bluer than an Eiffel 65 song. Maybe not as much as Crash Thompson, who's bluer than an Eiffel 65 song and a Smurf. I got that backwards, but you get the idea. And technically they are still as well in their own politics. I mean, they're from Cali, that kind of comes with the territory, most of it. Probably be talking about another thing liberal in a different kind of way later when I get a chance to, because that record is definitely something that's going to give me even more to talk about than even Green Day gave me, kind of, sort of, oddly enough. But yeah, this album gave me something to talk about. I'm thinking it could grow. It's still going to have a good solid place and being for sure honorable mentions, possibly high honors. I can't say for sure on best of the year, but I don't know yet. The year's still young, you know. We'll see how. I mean, it happened with Catatonia. We'll see how it happens with Green Day here. I know there's some couple other records I could give a best of the year to that I'd like to talk about on their own as well when I get a chance to. So, yeah. Green Day Saviors. Overall, I'm going to say strong keeping it real. Light horns up, actually. Good job, boys. Good job, boys. And yes, through this record, you're given a reason for us to say God wants to watch his favorite band again. I had to do it. I had to do it. Every Green Day fan knows this since the bullet in the Bible thing. I'll be the band name too. Oh well. Anyways, what did you think of Green Day Saviors? Leave a comment below, let me know. And as always, guys, keep it random, keep it real, keep it rocking. And we'll see you in the next video. Whatever that may be. In fact, one that might be a little even more controversial as opposed to what Green Day did at New Year's. More deservedly. So, but yeah, that came out literally at the beginning of the year. So, yeah. Take care, y'all.